the world leader in motorsports coverage, presents Speed World. In the Palm Beaches of Florida, all the auto racing used to be done by rich playboys in their sports cars. But today, it will be done by the rising professional aspirants of the 1991 Barber Saab Pro Series. Hello once again, everyone. I'm Bob Varsha, along with ESPN road racing analyst David Hobbs. The Barber Saab Pro Series remains unchanged. In terms of mechanical venues, there will be identically prepared open-wheel race cars, but the purses are larger this year, and of course, the year-end $100,000 bonus will be a great incentive. We have a terrific international field, and this first race should produce some great action.
Well, the Barber Saab Championship has established itself as the premier stepping stone to the top of auto racing. It is a full international series. We've got drivers here from Spain, Finland, Sweden, Britain, Italy, Brazil, and of course the USA. One of those drivers in the USA, Brian Herter, came fifth in last year's championship. He wants to win it badly this year for the USA. The front of the grid is packed close together, and we're going to see some tremendous action here at West Palm Beach this afternoon.
Warm and windy West Palm Beach indeed. A Swede will lead the field to the green flag. He's standing by now on pole position with our Chris McClure.
Last year, Robert Amron was running Formula 3 in Sweden, then came across to try Barber Saab at the end of the campaign and finished the last two races in second place, finished ninth in the points, and now at West Palm Beach on the pole. It's a pretty tight field up front, Robert. Are you the kind of guy that needs to get out and run in front of a race?
Not necessarily. I prefer to stay behind and go for a long time and put the last few laps for down. But at this circuit, it's a very sharp hairpin for the first corner, so I'd rather stay in front of the pack so I can control the first corner.
So a young driver with some patience, Bob, as we get set to roll at West Palm.
Their battlefield is 1.62 miles long with 11 turns. Here's David Hobbs with a corner-by-corner analysis.
At 1.62 miles, it's a short course, but by packing 11 turns in, they certainly make it very busy. No elevation change, but very, very bumpy. Those 11 turns, of course, make passing here very, very difficult indeed. Turn 4, we might see some overtaking there. Turn 5, I don't think much. Long back straight, 1,900 feet. I know we're going to see some overtaking at the end of that straight. Then we start on our way back towards the start-finish line. Those two very fast left-hand sweepers are going to bunch people up, and we're going to see a lot of action in that long, sharp turn 9. There will be overtaking there, and depending how well you manage to get through there into the last double right complex turns 10 and 11, we're going to see a bit of overtaking there, but it's mighty bumpy there.
All right, thank you, David. We have 26 cars in the field. The Barber Saab Pro Series, known for some exciting first corners. We'll be back to line them up and turn them loose as the 1991 Barber Saab Pro Series opens at the South Florida Fairgrounds in West Palm. ESPN Speed World coverage of the Barber Saab Pro Series from West Palm Beach is brought to you by Quaker State. The Big Q is one tough motor oil. And by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. Back at West Palm Beach, where the cars are on their pace lap for the first round of the Barber Saab Pro Series of 1991 here at the South Florida Fairgrounds. With that, let's take a look at the way they'll line up for today's race. On the pole, you just met Robert Amron from Järna, Sweden, alongside Johnny Robinson, the preseason series favorite from Maidstone, England. Row 2, Brian Herta from Los Angeles, fifth in the series last year, next to Long Beach, California's David Pook. Row 3 will be Jose Cordova from Curitiba, Brazil, next to Jeff Davis from Orange, California. Row 4, Ross Hockenhull from Buxton, England, next to Paige Jones, son of IndyCar legend Parnelli Jones. Row 5 will be Finland's Tony Levo, next to Barry Waddell from Evansville, Indiana. Row 6, Ian Ashley, who brings Formula 1 and IndyCar experience to the series, next to Tony Trimmer, also a former Formula 1 pilot. Row 7, Terry Borchler from Crystal River, Florida, next to California's Leo Parente. Row 8, Matt Christian, a series veteran from Tulsa, Oklahoma, next to Mark Tremblay from Huntington, New York. Row 9, Alex Padilla from Sacramento, California. Ricardo Dona of Rome, Italy will be at his elbow. Row 10, Wes Short from Indian Shoes, California, next to Tallahassee's Bud Clark. Row 11, Kevin Wida from Newport Beach, California, next to Iowan Tom Jaquette. Row 12, Simon Miles from Royal Turnbridge, England, next to Frenchman Jean Delamousse from Paris. Row 13, our final row, Ken Salusto from Brooklyn, New York, and Robbie Perez from Argentina. As you may have noticed from our opening appearance on camera, wind very much a factor here at West Palm Beach today. Expected to blow perhaps up to 60 miles an hour. The skies mostly cloudy, quite warm. And of course, South Florida humidity will get you every time. A race analysis shows our purse of some $40,900. 26 cars there. Your pole sitter, Robert Amron. Field separation 9.46 miles an hour. That's a little unusual for this series. These cars are identically prepared. Rob Wilson, our winner a year ago, dominated the series, winning more than a half dozen races, and he has moved on.
It's a bit misleading, that statistic, really, because it's only the last 3 or 4 cars that drop off rather dramatically, which bump it up there. It's very close to about midfield. You know, we've only got less than 2 miles an hour covering the field, right down to well into the field.
In fact, 6 miles an hour covers 1st through 24th in the field. Cars now pairing up side by side as they await the green flag from IMSA starter Jim Sidley.
Now these guys have got a lot to prove. People like Tony Trimmer don't have much to prove, been around for a long time, but...
There is the green flag. They take it on the short backstretch here at West Palm because they have this large first turn for runoff space. Keep in mind, the Barber Saab series is famous for some wild opening laps. These drivers are told to rein it in, be a little conservative, get through the first laps, and then start your racing.
So went pretty wide there.
3 wide, and a little bit of wheel bumping. There is your leader, the red number 9 of Johnny Robinson, second in overall series points last year from Maidstone, England. He is expected to be our champion this year, but anything can happen in the Barber Saab Pro Series.
Well, he certainly expects to be champion. He had a great year last year, had a number of wins, came second to England's Rob Wilson, so he's starting off the series with a little bit of an advantage over some of the other runners who haven't driven these Barber Saab cars before, and of course he's driven here before, which is even more important probably.
Early passing attempt as they come down the 1,900-foot back stretch. Ooh, a little bit tight there. That's the number 1 of Brian Herta. Now, he's carrying a lot of pressure here in West Palm Beach. He is the American, and everybody wants to see the young Americans move up against the Europeans.
That yellow car in second spot, that's David Pook. He's the son of Chris Pook, the promoter of the Long Beach Grand Prix. And he only started in Barber Saab last year, and all weekend he got steadily faster and faster through every practice and qualifying session, and ended up on the second row, and there he is, jumped right into second spot, being hard pressed now by the pole sitter, the number 70, the black car of Robert Amron from Sweden.
You can see on that yellow number 78 of David Pook, his sponsor is My Dad, Inc.
Yeah. Well, of course, if you made the money his dad makes promoting that race, you'd be sponsored by his dad.
Careful, David, you'll get a phone call from Chris.
I will.
The IndyCar race at Long Beach, California. He promotes the IMSA Camel GT race at Del Mar, California.
That is the only thing that the wind will. It could blow debris and rubbish onto the track, and of course it's just somebody's luck that a piece of paper blows into the radiator intake and ruins your day. There's David Pook, the yellow number 78. Being hounded very much by Amron, the Swede, in the number 70, the black number 70.
Number 9, Johnny Robinson opening up a bit of a lead. Yellow 78 is David Pook. Black number 70 is Robert Amron, the pole sitter.
And right behind him is number 21. That's another black car. That is Paige Jones, son of Parnelli Jones, another very, very famous name in American racing.
Paige and his older brother PJ both trying to follow in their father's admittedly very large racing footsteps.
Yes, they are footprints.
Oh, we've got a big wreck. Somebody has nosed hard into the tire wall.
2 of them in there.
2 cars out of there. Ooh, drivers having...
Whoa.
Oh, my.
Sandwich. One of the both drivers seem to get out very agilely, so we're assuming that no one's been hurt.
The number 11 on the top of that sandwich was Leo Parente. He's the man on the right. Classic conversation between 2 drivers who have run into each other. I don't think they're saying, gee, it was a nice morning for me. How was yours so far? Let's see if we can take another look at it. What just happened there? Ooh.
Well and truly locked together.
28 is the other car. That's Tony Levo from Tamasari, Finland. And there is where they crashed. That was down in the turn 9 area, and ironically, that's the widest part of the racetrack.
Yeah, they just, I guess one of them tried to outbrake the other. They got the wheels hooked together. It looks like they had a classic wheel hooking in open wheels. It launched the one car on top of the other and literally came down on top of it.
And with that, we're looking at a full course caution until they can get those cars out of harm's way. The pace car will take to the racetrack, bring Johnny Robinson and the rest of the field under control. We'll be back to West Palm. Palm Beach, there is Leo Parente walking back to the pits after a collision between he and Finland driver Tony Levo. We mentioned at the top of our show that there is a great deal of experience in this field. There in car number 4 in red and white is Ian Ashley from Cambridge, England, who makes his living as a corporate jet pilot, but has driven Formula One cars and Indy cars in the last couple of decades of competition. He retired briefly from racing, but has come back in the Barber Saab Pro Series. Before the race, we asked Ian, why have you returned to racing? What are you trying to accomplish?
Everybody loves a winner, and so here with television and everything, anybody who can prove that they're in the winner's circle, it's the sort of thing that the top boys and people are looking for. You know, they know it's difficult to get in the right cars at the right time, and as far as the IndyCar people, they know that I'm quite a competent driver. They know that with my past, with what I did in the IndyCars. What they really want to know with everybody is, are they a winner? And this sort of thing, I know it's not IndyCars, but it is top-class racing, and anybody who's winning in any formula has something special, and that's what you need to prove. And here we are, and this is what everyone's trying to do. So it's a great vehicle.
As you watch our race leader Johnny Robinson trying to do what Ian Ashley was just talking about, develop a reputation as a winner no matter what class of racing you're participating in. We mentioned that the cars are identically prepared. The drivers can, however, customize the car to his particular driving style. You can change tire pressure, suspension settings, wing angles, but you cannot touch the mechanical components. The engines are all sealed. They all run at the same turbocharger boost with the same gearing and so forth. Here was the scene of the accident. You can see the tire tracks running off into the corner. There is Leo Parente's somewhat forlorn-looking car in the background as Johnny Robinson in red number 9 leads David Hook in the 78 yellow car, and our pole sitter Robert Amron.
I was just about to say the field bunching up, and as I said it, Johnny Robinson legged it, even though he hadn't got to the start-finish line yet.
Coming off that corner going sideways, I think Johnny Robinson probably has a little less overall wing angle in that car. He's opting for top-end speed.
Well, it's a bit of a tricky situation here. You don't want too much top-end speed. We've only got the one back straight, 1900 foot after this corner here. This is turn 5, and between here and turn 6 is a 1900 foot straightaway. Only place these cars get up to speed, but of course it's essential to be able to go fast down there. Johnny Robinson in that number 9 car looking pretty good at the moment, but it's essential to be able to carry speed there to try and overtake people as you come into that turn 6.
As we watch Robinson beginning to pull away now from David Pook and the rest of the pack, let's set the top 10. Robinson, Pook, Robert Amron, our pole sitter, Paige Jones, Brian Herta, Jeff Davis, Jose Cordova, Ross Hockenhall, Terry Borchler, and Barry Waddell.
Amron got around David Pook there.
Wouldn't you know it, just as I get him in a place.
Just as you get them in a place, of course, and you kept on reading the thing, and there they were, passing each other.
Here comes a move by Brian Herta, white number 1. Looks like he's going to try to get around David Pook on the outside of this off-camber corner.
Of course, these short races, it's absolutely essential to get all this passing done as soon as possible. It's no good them all sitting back and watching Johnny Robinson disappear into the distance and saying, well, I'll wait till the race. Not strategy in this race. It's not a 2-hour race. It's only half an hour. And so these guys really do have to get on with the program. And if someone like David Pook, who made a very good start, got in front of some of these guys, if they feel he's holding them up, it gets very frustrating. And this is a difficult racetrack to overtake him.
If you don't have top-end speed on your opponent, what you have to do is out-brave him into a corner. Wait to get on those brakes.
Now, I must say I would have thought that the number 1 car there of Brian Herta, the white car, would have drafted, really, would have been better off drafting David Pook down that back straight instead of pulling out like he did.
Let me reset the top 5 since we've had some shuffling around. It's Robinson, now Amron in second, David Pook, Brian Herta, and Paige Jones. Number 1 right there is Brian Herta. Brian High-Speed Herta. He's known for pole positions, known for just blinding qualifying laps. What he really wants to do now is prove he can win. Oh, we almost had a wheel banging there. Number 5, Jeff Davis getting together there with, I believe that was Paige Jones in the 21 black car that he was trying to pass on the inside. Oh, we got a spin. Just leading onto the backstretch there, down in the turn 5 area. I believe that's the red number 15 of Kevin Wida from Newport Beach, California. Now he's about to be gobbled up by Tom Jacquet. All of these drivers have had time to test these cars if their schedules allow them to be available for testing session, but there is a great experience gap from driver to driver. In fact, the guy running in the second half of that picture, the number 18 of Tom Jacquet, is a series veteran. He's been driving these cars for a couple of seasons. I would expect Tom might have his setup down a little bit more pat than this. The idea behind the series is to keep the cars as identically prepared as possible. There's the number 70 of Robert Amron, still trying to run down the leader, Johnny Robinson. But the idea is to concentrate on driver ability, setting up your race car and getting the most out of it. Ooh, close battle there is Robinson lapping traffic.
Yeah, now this, of course, is the sort of thing that can make or break you in a race when you start to get amongst the back markers. Now, he's got around him in a very fortuitous position. So now he's got that number 3 car between himself and the rest of the field. A great feeling.
That's Bud Clark in that white number 3, who's lost part of his front wing. Our leader is the red number 9 of Johnny Robinson from England. We'll catch up with the action from the Barber Saab Pro Series at West Palm in a moment. Round David Pook, so we've had a change in 3rd place on the racetrack. And a lot of empty straightaway ahead of Brian Herta as he tries to catch up on Robert Amron. There is the yellow number 78 of the background. Herta has gotten around David Pook. Brian High-Speed Herta from Los Angeles, California.
He'll be looking to try and close the gap between himself and Robert Amron in the 2nd spot, but of course time is running out and it depends what he can do. David Pook there now running on his own in the number 78, the yellow car. Number 9 is our leader, Johnny Robinson. Coming back to the start-finish line for the...
You can see how bumpy it is. This is the parking lot section of the racetrack. Oh, opposite lock-on. He is really flinging that thing around.
All these cars are on Goodyear Eagle racing tires. They don't have treads. They are proper racing tires. They're slicks. And, ooh, the first year they tried them, they did run on more of a street radial. But now... they have...
we've got a messy crash there. That's Brian Herta, our 3rd place car. Number 1, Brian Herta from Los Angeles. Pressed the envelope a little too far.
Boy, he certainly did. That was a pretty wild crash. I think he clipped the wall on the outside. See, no, has it?
Took off both left side wheels.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can take another look and see what happened to Brian Herta, who took the whole left side off that car. Oh, he's already into the wall. Riding it heavily. This is in the twisty bits. Turns 1, 2, and 3 hard into those tire barriers. But we saw him climb out. There's where it took place. One of the fastest sections of the racetrack. There's the accident in the background. Now the field is obviously slowed down, but the pace cars are not on the racetrack.
It may be that the yellow flag is just shown on this section 1 through 3.
We now have an official word. There is no full course caution in effect. We're under racing conditions here. And this will bunch up all of our leaders for a dash to the checkered flag. Johnny Robinson had a several second lead over this man, the number 70 of Robert Amron. And now you saw the yellow car of Chris Pook back there. David Pook, sorry, Chris. Behind him, Paige Jones. Ross Hockenhull still has a shot here. There's David Pook.
Amron trying to go around the outside there and got wide, but he's going to pull it off into this next corner.
Open wheel cars don't do well door handle to door handle.
Robert Amron takes the lead. Paige Jones is up to 3rd. A very close 3rd.
There must be a problem with Johnny Robinson's car. He does not look competitive at all at this point. He's been passed by Robert Amron.
The way he was dirt tracking that car just a few laps ago and you commented on it, I'm wondering if he's got a slowly deflating tire.
There's somebody with a quickly deflating one.
Right.
That's the number 14 of Alex Padilla of Sacramento, California.
Certainly is deflated.
Doesn't get much deflateder than that.
Now then, Paige Jones in that number 21 car, right behind Robinson in the red number 9. Can he get it? Robinson going down into turn 6 there. Takes back the lead from Robert Amron. Good move. Stayed right in the slipstream. Drafted him right to the end.
Great battle here. Now Amron's going to try Johnny Robinson again. Right there is the 21 of Paige Jones. A great battle here at West Palm.
Now we're going to see some banzai effort into turn 9 for sure.
Johnny Robinson just looks like he's struggling in that red number 9. Now the checkered flag is just moments away. If there's going to be a move, it's going to happen now. We don't see the checkered flag this time around as the leaders flash across the start-finish line. It is Robinson and Amron, followed by Paige Jones, as they have now opened up a gap on 4th place.
David Pook and Ross Huckenhull on that number 10 car is up to 5th. But these are the 3 guys who are duking it out now. Can only be 2 or 3 laps at most to go. Time is running out on these guys. This is not a lap race. This is a timed race, and they're getting very close to the end of their time.
That's why we can't be exactly precise about when we're going to see the checkered flag, because it's all done by the watch and not the number of laps. We apologize for some shaky pictures here and there as the wind tries to tear these television cameras out of the hands of our operators. Your leader is the red number 9 of Johnny Robinson, Robert Amron, right there. Now we have official word. There will be a checkered flag this time around. You can hear the tires squeal. Johnny Robinson trying to hold off Robert Amron, who in turn is trying to hold off young American Paige Jones. 2 more corners and then the checkers. And it waves from IMSA flagman Jim Sidley. Johnny Robinson takes an eventful first victory of the season on the Barber Saab Pro Series. Robert Amron, our pole sitter, had his shot. And Paige Jones comes home unofficially with a fine 3rd place finish. There is your winner, who will make his way around into victory lane, where we will meet him with Chris McClure in just a moment. Johnny Robinson from England takes the first battle of the 1991 Barber Saab Pro Series.